Another thing I'd like to discuss today related to your colon health and the probiotics is overgrowth of bad bacteria and fungus and viruses and protozoans and parasites. We term all of these critters microbes. Now, a healthy intestinal wall or colon wall has plenty of probiotics, trillions of probiotics. What these probiotics do is secrete enzymes that help kill the bad bacteria that could be in the gut from the food we digest. But also the probiotics help secrete mucus, and they line the wall of the colon to prevent any bad fungus, bacteria, viruses, protozoans, amoebas from attaching to that colon wall. So they provide a barrier. As we talked about in the previous video, as we kill these probiotics off with our diet and our lifestyle, what happens is now you've got open, fertile ground on the colon wall. It's just as if you had a nice green lawn and you took a plow through the middle of it. And now you have a strip of empty dirt. If you just left that strip of dirt there for 2 months and then came back, it'd be full of weeds. The bad guys are going to take over when there's an opportunity to do that. One of the bad guys is Candida, which is a type of yeast or fungus. And there's numerous species of fungus in yeast, and I call them bad guys when they're really not. God gave us yeast for a reason. They naturally occur in our colon. They're the scavengers of the human body. They're like the garbage men. They work on the dead stuff, dead cells that slough off, dead food that's accumulated. So we need these guys to perform a vital role. Unfortunately, if they overgrow and we get too many Candida or yeast or fungus, then that poses a problem. And again, they will overgrow when there's an open, fertile ground on the colon wall to overgrow, but also if we throw fertilizer on them, they'll really overgrow. Fungus love sugar. And as I mentioned earlier, the average American consumes a pound of sugar in 4 days. So basically what we're doing is wiping out our good guys, the probiotics, and then we're fertilizing the Candida. So pretty soon we get what's called gut dysbiosis, which is a fancy term for imbalance of the gut bacteria. Good guys are down, bad guys are up. What happens then is these guys, these fungal guys and other microbes that are dangerous, can move across the colon wall into the bloodstream. The main blood vessel running through the gut's a portal vein. All your nutrients plus these microbes can soak into the portal vein and travel to the liver, which is where the portal vein makes its first stop. Well, the liver is where the human body stores extra sugar. If we have any extra sugar, it'll be stored in the liver. In Africa, when the kids are starving, there is no extra sugar. They don't have sugar in their liver, but we have plenty of extra sugar. And as I mentioned earlier, fungus loves sugar. So the fungus just jumped into the portal vein, rode up to the liver, and now they found the Fort Knox of sugar storage. And they multiply like crazy throughout the liver. Now you've got all of your blood. Every drop of your blood makes its way through the liver every 3 minutes. So do the math on that, however many minutes are in a day. That's how many times your blood makes it through the filter, your liver, that's full of fungus. So the fungus will jump into that bloodstream and ride the wave and go and find a place to hide throughout your body. It can be in a joint. It can be in the skin. It can be in a carotid artery. It could be anywhere. They love the sinuses too. Some of the most common complaints I see are joint aches and pains, various skin rashes, itchy skin, chronic sinus and allergy. If we eradicate the fungus through diet and other means, usually these symptoms dissipate quickly. But it all starts with an imbalanced gut. When the probiotics are not there to perform their role of being a barrier along the wall of your colon, it allows these guys, like fungus and other germs, to potentially overgrow. The Human Genome Project, which started in the early 90s and lasted about 10 years, the goal of that project was to map out our DNA. We've got 25,000 genes in our DNA. We wanted to sequence all those genes, name them all. We wanted to find a cancer gene and a rheumatoid gene and a MS gene. And that's not, it didn't turn out that way because that's not how it works. But one interesting thing we discovered during that project was we have a lot of non-human DNA in us. Now, what we did was take samples of blood from young, healthy individuals who didn't have any diseases, no symptoms, no medications. And we started analyzing their blood, and and pulling their DNA out. And what we noticed was there's a lot of non-human DNA, and we had to sort of filter through that, put non-human DNA over to the side and human DNA over here so we could study it. And what it ended up being at the end of the day, there were 10 times more non-human DNA than human DNA in the human body. And what those guys were was fungus and protozoans and amoebas and bacteria and viruses. So it's your immune system's job is to keep these 10 times more foreign guys than human cells in check. Keep them from overgrowing and affecting us. And one of the primary ways that we keep these guys in check is by having a healthy gut wall and not allowing a place, an opportunity for these guys to get into the bloodstream. So that's another reason we need to look at the probiotics and look at your gut and see what it's telling us.